Good morning, everybody. So I'm April Kilpatrick, and I'm really pleased to be here this morning to share with you all a little bit more about my business and to explain to you how a virtual assistant can help actually grow your business. So I'm going to start off with a little bit, just a little bit about me. So I am the owner of AK Virtual Support Solutions. As you can see, it says I provide freelance business support services. So I feel like I'm quite unique where I'm based, in that I don't just offer virtual support as in remote support. I do on-site meetings with clients that require that as well. So I launched my business last September, so during lockdown, whilst I'm out based in the UAE, in Ras Al Khaimah. I'm originally from the northwest of England, so in Lancashire, for those of you who are familiar with the area. And I've been living out here now for about 2 years. As you can see on the picture, that's me at the top of the Burj Khalifa with my 2 small children. So being a virtual assistant for me in the last 12 months has been amazing, because as I've written on there, I've had lots of roles in various sectors and different industries. And I've been really fortunate with those roles in that I've been able to work when in that experience on occasions remotely, sort of flexibly, and using all of that experience culminated with being at home during lockdown. I was able to sort of look at how I wanted to go forward and how I wanted to progress myself as a businesswoman. So last September, I launched AK Virtual Support Solutions, and through this last year, I've learned quite a lot about myself and how I can support people, and how virtual assistants are a really great tool for businesses, individuals, and the like. So very briefly, what is a VA? Obviously, we talk about a virtual assistant. I know that there's many people that know of a virtual assistant, but actually, what is it? And there on that sheet there is just a few examples of different names of what a virtual assistant could actually be. In essence, a virtual assistant is an independent contractor who supports and provides admin services to clients whilst operating outside of their office, whether that's a home office or a space that they sort of rent. We typically operate from home offices ourselves, but we access remotely what we need to provide the support. In reality, what a virtual assistant can be is a lot more than that. So I think for those of you that have worked with a virtual assistant or have had experience working with a virtual assistant, I think you would agree that it can be a lot more than what it seems on the surface. Again, on here, just some of the tasks that you can outsource. I know it's very easy to sort of say it's admin, but what does that actually entail? So there's a few examples on here of things that you may not actually even think about that you could outsource to somebody. Obviously, we're all here, we're all running businesses, or we know people that are in businesses, but we all also have lives at home as well. So that the annual events that come around, whether it's anniversaries or birthdays, those sorts of things that come up on your calendar and you go, oh, I've got to send these cards, I've got to send that. Those are the sort of things that you can also outsource to a virtual assistant, or they can manage your travel arrangements when it's all up and running in terms of international or local, if you've got an event that's coming up. And obviously with things that have now opened up again in the UK, when you start to look at those sorts of things, there's going to be lots of different guidelines or regulations and those sorts of things to take into account, and you don't always have the time to do that. File storage and organisation, again, in a traditional sense, you might have an admin assistant who would do that in an office space. But if you're working yourself from a remote office, at home or in a space that you use, you might have all your cloud storage that you just can't seem to get to the bottom of. You save things and then you go, oh, where is it when I need it? Again, that's the sort of stuff that you can obviously outsource. And things such as online research. It doesn't, if you're looking for a new system to introduce and to help you, whether it's with your, accounts sections or, your appointment scheduling, you want an automated appointment scheduling system. if you search that on Google, you'll probably come up with about 10 different options, and finding the right one that's going to work for you can obviously take a little bit of your time out. So you can obviously, that's the sort of stuff as well you could outsource. Okay. When you start your business, whether you're the sort of, if you call yourself founder, CEO, chief in charge, girl boss, whatever you want to be, when you start, you wear so many different hats, and you're responsible for every department. You're responsible for the sales, for marketing, for customer service, accounts department, production, depending on what your business entails. And at the beginning, that you might determine that's the most economical way when you first start out in a business to actually manage all of those yourself. But you also have to give consideration to how much time managing each of those departments just for your business can actually take up. So there's a few statistics on here that I'm just going to talk around a little bit more, just to give you a better idea of what you can actually save for yourself. So a virtual assistant can save you up to 78% on your operating costs annually. That's things that you don't, because of the nature of how virtual assistants work, you don't have to pay the expensive office rent or the setup for the equipment, employee benefits, all that sort of stuff. That is all absorbed by the virtual assistant, so you aren't having to pay out of that sort of costs. The virtual assistant, when you take on a virtual assistant and you start that partnership, their experience means that they come to the table to you with not only their knowledge of maybe working in industries similar to yours, but they can also suggest ways to improve and streamline your systems. So that would be, to help you with saving on, just to sort of simplify that process for you, using their experience that they've gained, whether that's through their virtual assistant experience or through their experience in their previous capacity. Increased efficiency. Do you know that the average 8-hour employee is productive for about 3 hours a day? But you have to pay them obviously for the full day, and you pay them all the employee benefits on top of that. The beauty of a virtual assistant is that the time that you pay them for is productive time on your business. So the benefit to you is that if you pay for a 10-hour retainer for a month, or however upfront you pay that's 10 hours spent on your business, exclusively on your business, and helping you to achieve your goal quicker. There's an average cost there between £26 and £30 an hour. That's the average cost in the UK for a virtual assistant. What you'll find is that virtual assistants the beauty of it, especially for me, is that we can be based anywhere. So what you'll find is that the rates vary across the globe, and again, they'll vary within the country. But that's just to give you an idea of, if you're outsourcing those tasks and it's costing that much, how much does that equate to? What is an hour of your time worth if you're dealing with a client, spending time in your business, on your business, sorry. How much of that, what does that equate to for you on a long-term basis? And the biggest thing that a virtual assistant can obviously save you is time. It's really easy to find any statistics and the rates and, search all of that about what a virtual assistant can do. But the question will very much change from being about how much time you can save and how much that's going to cost you, to being more about how successful can my business become if I'm not doing the things I don't really need to do. So we're at the point now where you've sort of, you understand what a virtual assistant is, what they can do for you, and what you can save. When you found a potential virtual assistant, you've really got to think about, you have an open conversation with that person. You might have a few in mind, and you need to find the right person for you. As we've covered in the group before, it's like anything else. Not everybody is going to do the same job, and not everybody has the same strengths and weaknesses. So you have to find the right fit for your business, and only you know how that's going to work for you. So these are a few questions just to have in that conversation. to find out, to get that best fit for how it's going to work for you. So obviously it's, how did the person end up as a virtual assistant? Find out what they want to share with you about their work experience, their history, what they like just in general to do outside of work, because it might be that you find something that you really have in common, or they might share with you a task that they've undertaken for somebody else that you in the back of your mind know, well, that's where I want my business to go. And without having that dialogue, you wouldn't know that about that person. Do you need them to be exclusively remote, or would you prefer them to be on site? Me personally, over the last 12 months, I've adapted my business to what my clients need. So I very much offer both. Obviously, logistically wise, I can't be on site with any of you, especially with the restrictions on travel. But I have clients based in the UAE that they need that. They want that level of support. They want to see me maybe once a month, just to touch base, just because that makes them feel more comfortable. And I'm happy to do that because that's how our business relationship works. Find out about the set hours that they might work. If they're at home with if it's a virtual assistant, maybe is at home all day with small children and they're working in an evening. If the task that you want to outsource is a phone answering service, is that going to work for you? Have a think about what it is that they can do and what they can achieve within that time. A big one, when people start working with a virtual assistant, is about privacy and confidentiality. How do you reassure them? How are you reassured that the virtual assistant you're working with is adhering to, privacy restrictions that you might have? So find out what their protocols are with regards to document retention, confidentiality. Make sure that you feel secure. You have to trust that person to be within your business, and ask them where they're based. I'm not based in the UK, but I could support somebody in the fact that out here, my working week is slightly different. My working week starts on a Sunday and finishes on a Thursday. That's how the week works out here. If you remember something on a Friday that you need for a meeting on Monday, and you're panicking that nobody's going to be able to get that together, I work on a Sunday. I can have that put together and return to you. You wake up on Monday morning ready to set work, to go into that meeting, and you've got everything that you need. Think about the benefits of the different time zones where people are going to be able to work. Most importantly is to think about and determine what you need, what your needs are, what you want to delegate, what you need to delegate, and also give consideration to any negative feedback you've had, weaknesses that people may have said. So maybe response time, yourself, if you're overwhelmed in business and you're not meeting that customer service level that people are looking for, is that something that you could outsource? And just give consideration to what it is you're trying to achieve with the business. Having taken all of that into account, the ways in which a virtual assistant can help your business grow, to answer the question, is with regards to time, you can be spending it on your business as opposed to in your business. So whilst you're attending meetings, you're attending network events, you've got a client that's coming in, you need to be working on something that, somebody's asked you to create. If you are a person that makes something bespoke, you could be doing that, and your virtual assistant is doing your back office, your admin, updating your CRM with all your new contacts that you've made at a networking event. You're not having to worry about where did I put that business card, or did I find that email? It's all there, and you know where the contacts are. Efficient. You can streamline your business services. You can simplify your processes. A virtual assistant can help organize your systems and make it easier to find those documents, find that client's record. Your virtual assistant can format the presentation that you've got to give, or the proposal that you just didn't get around to tidying up. You've drafted it out, but you've just not had time to put it on its nice header and get it sent to where it needs to go. And most importantly, balance. Get your life back. Think about the opportunity of having a better balance in all of those things. And with a virtual assistant, it really doesn't have to be wishful thinking. It can be a reality. You can have that balance of, you went into business, likely business by yourself, because you wanted to take a holiday. When you wanted to take a holiday, you wanted to have more time at home, you know, you wanted to pursue a new hobby. You know, find a virtual assistant who can get on board with your mission, your values, get on board with you as a person, and you can try and, you know, get some of that balance back. And these are just a couple of feedbacks that I've had from my clients in how I've helped them achieve exactly what I've just said, you know, helping them streamline their businesses, making sure that they can deal with and get on board with what they need to do, and letting me do what's not really a requirement for them to be involved in. So I'll just leave those on there for a couple of minutes for people to have a read through. And I love having all the connections that I've made in this Kindred group, and I'm always looking to speak to new people, see how we can help each other, and my website and email address and contact details are all there for future. So, thank you very much.